Welcome to South Boston, Virginia, for tonight's running of the Pentagon 125 Three Rock Series live here on JCTV, race number 4 of the 6-race schedule. I'm Josh Coppernell. I'm joined by Adam Kuhn. Adam, how are you doing tonight?
Evening, Josh. I'm doing well. Excited for yet another race here, like you mentioned, halfway here in the Three Rock Series. It's been a great way to start off these Monday nights, beginning of this off season for most everything else. But Josh, it's been really fun to call these races here in Three Rock and watch everything develop. I think it's going to be a very fun one tonight. Back to a short oval, and it's going to be a little chaotic tonight. We haven't been to South Boston too much, Josh, but when we have, it's been exciting on JCTV.
Yeah, and speaking of exciting, not only has South Boston been exciting, but this series has been exciting. I mean, hands down, last week was one of the best broadcasts we've had on JCTV, period. And that's a lot. We've had a ton of broadcasts throughout, the history of JCTV. So, I mean, for me to just put last week's race in that category, it's crazy. That was at Tsukuba, a road course. We're here at the short track in South Boston this week.
Yeah, last week's race was very great, Josh, for everyone. Not necessarily wasn't a great race for the win, but everyone else was out there on the line, just putting it almost off the limit and a lot of times off track, just to see what they could do around that circuit at Tsukuba you mentioned. And it's going to be a little different tonight. We've got to have the concrete walls to confine you tonight, and it's going to be a little hectic trying to stay within them, and we have seen that a lot in this practice session so far, Josh.
The man to beat so far, man, the driver of the 54, Matt Gruenberg. He had a really good race at Auto Club before things didn't go his way. And then he's been the winner of the last two, Lernerville, the dirt track, and Tsukuba last week, the road course. Currently sitting P1 in practice here at the short track. The one thing that I love about series like this, the iRock series, the SRX series, and the Three Rock series, is you can put some of the best drivers, put them in a schedule that really brings out the best, their strengths, their weaknesses. And so far, we really haven't seen a weakness from Gruenberg.
You're absolutely right, Josh. You mentioned man to beat the last 2 weeks and leading this practice session right now a little bit faster than Brent Miller right now in this 40-minute practice session, Josh. So I think he's going to be the guy to watch out for in these opening laps, see how fast he's able to go through the field if he does have another bad draw like he had the last couple of weeks. But it didn't take him much long to get through the front the last couple of weeks, Josh. He had an early challenge from a couple of different drivers the last couple of weeks, but then with the last about 70% of the race, he was just able to walk away from the field, and just impressive drives you mentioned at completely different racetracks.
Yeah, Lernerville, he started behind, I think he started at 6th. He made his way to 2nd in pretty much one corner, and he was closing in on Carlos Acosta before Carlos had his issues. Got the lead, never looked back. And then last week at Tsukuba, he started, like you said, not up towards the front. He had one heck of a battle with, I believe it was Race Clark for the race lead, and finally was able to get around Race Clark. Once again, never looked back. It's all about the draw tonight, as you mentioned. He could start anywhere, 1st, 11th, anywhere in between. So, that's one interesting thing about tonight. Nobody knows. Oh, goodness, that was late netcode for Gruenberg. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting tonight, see where he could come from. And I've heard rumors. I don't know if I really need to ask who your pick to win is. I've heard rumors, but go ahead and tell us. Who is your pick to win?
It is going to be the 54 of Matt Gruenberg. I think he's going to continue that streak tonight. I think he's going to have a lot of challenges in store for him tonight in that 54 GR86 machine tonight, Josh. But I think he's going to once again prove himself as one of the best in the three-wide racing league.
I'm gonna go with Race Clark. He's been pretty good last couple weeks. Race Clark, of course, like I said, battling for the race lead with Grunberg last week for a good portion of the early race, and had a really good race at Scuba as well last week. Currently P4 in the practice. Again, you know, no qualifying. It's all going to be about the draw, but I think Race Clark, he's going to end up in victory lane.
I think he's going to have a strong night tonight. Josh, you mentioned how strong he was last week, and really the last 2 weeks he's really been strong. The small mistakes have put him out of contention to win. Still able to bring a little bit of a strong finish last week at Tsukuba, but I think he's going to be trying to put that behind him and put it all together tonight.
So let's see, as checkered flag is waving. Going to take a look at our starting grid, and it appears... there we go. A little slow there on timing, but Brent Miller going to start from the pole, and look at that. Race Clark, P2. Starting in third, it's going to be Just Story, Matt Hackathorn, P4, and Brady Smith will start fifth.
Trevor Butler is going to start in the 6th position with James Miller in 7th. Corey Lindsay 8th. Carlos Acosta starts out back in the 9th position. And at the rear of the field is going to be Matt Grunberg with yet another unfortunate draw on the grid. Starting 10th, like I mentioned, and alongside him in the 11th spot is going to be Justin Kolb in the 52.
Yeah, that is the starting grid for tonight. So 2 pace laps around this track, and I am aware that qualifying starting grid is still up. There we go. I was trying. It was not going away. So, 2 pace laps. Pace car, truck rather, will be in this time by. We are going to turn them loose. 125 laps around this track. Green flag is in the air. We're underway. And already a caution. Brady Smith.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there, Josh. Looks like he had a little bit of contact on the left side of Trevor Butler going to the first corner and just spun it out from underneath him there. Lucky he didn't have any more contact from anyone else there.
That's a bad angle. Yeah, I mean, Butler came down, but I'm wondering if Smith may have gotten in the corner a little too fast. Just from what I was watching, it could not. I mean, it could very well not have happened, but no, I think he got it. Okay. And Butler just came down, and I don't know why that sent Smith around like it did.
James Miller doored Corey Lindsay pretty good to avoid hitting Brady Smith right in the door, so I don't think there's going to be big damage to either the 09 or the 00, but something to note there.
So we're going to re-rack them, restack them, and try it again. Matt Hackathorn gained a position. Trevor Butler did as well.
Not sure what happened to Brady, but he slowed up under the caution after already waved, stopped, got passed by the field, and then we caught back up to the rear end of the pace truck, and now he's getting his lap back here as we get ready to go back green, Josh.
So, I'm going to say this quickly. Because there was a caution before all the... Well, no, that's not true. Never mind. What I was going to say made sense in my head. I'll explain here in a minute what I was getting at. We're coming back to green, though. This green flag is back out. And look at Race Clark. He actually has a really good run on the outside. Race Clark actually going to take the lead. Might clear Miller. He is. Race Clark. Well, still up there. Had it clear for just a split second. Now he's clear.
It looked like the outside lane launched a lot better than Brent Miller did also on that initial start, so not really surprised to see Race Clark challenge the lead on this attempt, but Matt Hackathorn all over the back bumper of Brent Miller for that second spot now, Josh.
Hackathorn's right there, and Story right on the back of Hackathorn. Story actually looking a little bit higher. You see these drivers, some of them cutting down onto the flat.
Matt Gruenberg, we mentioned fastest in that practice, up to 7th from his starting spot of 10th, trying to get the 6th spot now from James Miller. He's one of those most aggressive guys you mentioned, Josh, talking about hitting the flat.
Oh, Butler!
He's doing a lap right ahead of him. Could be a single car accident here, Josh, with Trevor Butler in the inside while he's going to keep on going. Very slight contact with Jeff's Story coming off of turn 4, Josh, and I just got around from Trevor Butler here.
That is unfortunate for Butler, but the damage might not be so bad. Butler actually not going to come down pit road. So, what I was getting at with Smith, the reason why it had Smith slow down, go behind the pace car, and take the way around. Usually this happens on the very first start of the green flag, if not all the field had passed the start-finish line. In this case, the whole field had passed the start-finish line as it happened in turn 1. So I'm not sure, because this is a short track, it's a little bit different. So anyway, what happens is, for those that don't pass the start-finish line, it makes them as if they went a lap down, but then they get a wave around for anybody that will go, say, the quote-unquote lap down. I don't know why. It's some, I guess, bug, if you will, in iRacing's code. But I believe that is the reasoning for, on that initial start, Brady Smith having to go behind the pace car before getting, say, the wave around.
You mentioned Butler did not opt to come down pit road. Only one driver did. That was Carlos Acosta. So we get the 1 to green here.
So Race Clark going to restart on the bottom. Had a great restart last time by to take the lead. Brent Miller going to be on the outside this time. Let's see what he can do. Green flag is waving. Race Clark already on the flat. Driving it hard down there. Going to get clear of Miller. Miller with a run though.
Yeah, shortcutting the track obviously gains you a lot of speed in the center of the corner, but you just lose so much straightaway speed if you're able to run a lot higher line like we see Miller doing here, and able to challenge for this lead and almost clear Race Clark for here. So we have 3 wide battling just behind him.
Miller almost clear of Clark. Just wasn't clear enough to get ahead. Now they are side by side after a little bobble from Miller going into one there. Clark still challenging on the bottom.
Hackathorn and Story stay side by side just behind them, hoping there's a mistake in one of the drivers ahead so they can pounce.
And James Miller, Matt Grunberg side by side for fifth behind Story, and Story and Hackathorn go single file. Now Miller clear of Clark, so put Story and Clark side by side.
Grunberg going to try and use Hackathorn as a pick as he continues to battle with Miller. There was a little bit of contact just ahead of him. And now here comes Justin Kolb to the inside of the 09. That's James Miller in the 6th position.
Race Clark still fighting on the bottom. And if you're Race Clark, you look in the mirror, you see a green car coming up towards your mirror. It's getting bigger and bigger, and that is Matt Grunberg right now. Grunberg behind Story. Clark chasing down Brent Miller.
Just Story with a moment off of turn 4 correction, getting on the straightaway, slowed up the momentum. Down the front, Grunberg going to try and poke the nose down the back straightaway. Now making a dive into turn 3 on the inside of Just Story as they continue to try and battle for the lead. Race Clark, a big dive in turn 3 and 4, trying to cut off the track as much as possible.
I saw that. I thought Clark was going to go all the way down into the pits. Now taking a peek to the inside.
Going to continue and use that white line almost on the apron.
Clark knows. Grunberg has gotten around Story. Clark knows he needs this lead quick.
Brent Miller not giving up though, continues to have the run down the straightaways to lead the laps. Has the momentum going into the corners as well, but Race Clark, good run there through turns 2 and 3, Josh. Gonna have a little bit of an advantage here.
Grunberg to the inside of Miller. Clark clear of Miller now.
And I think Brent Miller just got out of it there and tried to get in line.
That's smart. There was a hole between Grunberg and Story that Miller got into. And now Clark trying to pull away from Matt Grunberg. See there, Grunberg is a man on a mission. Took a very low entry into one. Clark still using all that apron that he possibly can. Grunberg looking to the outside, maybe trying to get the run on exit. I'm surprised he didn't cut down there. But it's working for him. Fastest car on track that last time by, the number 54, Matt Grunberg. Meanwhile, battle way back here. Brady Smith and Corey Lindsay. This is for P8. And here comes Butler. Butler wants some of those positions back that he's lost. Smith going to get clear of Lindsay. Now Butler looking underneath Lindsay.
Battle for the lead, Grunberg inside of Race Clark in turns 1 and 2. Trying to make something happen down the back straightaway. Now Brent Miller not pressuring him as much as he has been. But Matt Grunberg not able to dive as much as he has been in 3 and 4.
Stay ahead of Grunberg running that high line. I think Clark might have learned something on that restart. It got him the lead on the outside, as well as restart that got Miller the lead from the outside. Gruenberg going up there. Clark drives it in.
Change for P10, Carlos Acosta has gone by Corey Lindsay, excuse me.
I don't know if Clark is braking early or if Gruenberg is braking a little late. But you can definitely see that on entry, Gruenberg is closing the gap on Clark.
Gruenberg now going to peek to the outside here. Through 3 and 4 as Clark defends all the way on the flat.
It's just amazing, these two battling. As mentioned last week, and Scuba had a great battle for the race lead. And Clark lost that battle, but he wants Gruenberg to not win the war. Take it. He was peeking to that inside line.
Brent Miller really hasn't dropped off this battle that much either. He's just continuing to stalk these two, hoping something's going to happen between the 22 and 54 here.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I mean, Miller actually was fastest last time by. But pretty much these three drivers right here just swapping amongst the three of them who has the fastest times. Don't look now, Gruenberg underneath Clark. Clark was really pinching Gruenberg down there. Great defensive move out of Race Clark.
Ooh, a little unstable though, coming out of the front straightaway. Gonna allow the 54 an opening on the outside lane.
Clark is holding on for dear life right now. Very close to that wall. Exit of 4.
He is credited leading that last lap, so he's going to continue and try and power this outside lane. It's worked for him so far. Good run again here.
Almost clear of Clark. I'm really surprised Clark isn't trying that apron. Gruenberg gonna clear Clark.
Oh, Joshua, nearly 50 laps into this, I wonder if doing that line has completely scuffed up these tires, because that is a good approach on the short run, but after a while it just completely heats up and wears out the tires. But Race Clark is not going to let Gruenberg drive away from it and storm away with this lead, because he made a big dive bomb again into 2 and 3 that last lap, and he's continuing to just let Gruenberg stay right about there from this gap for the race lead.
You know, I'm looking at timing and scoring right now, and last I knew Lindsay was P11. It is now James Miller. I have no idea what happened to James Miller, but James Miller right in front of race leader Matt Gruenberg and Race Clark.
I saw Lindsay go by James Miller, and it looked like something was wrong with James, because you see here, he just does not have the same speed that he once had with that 09, he's going to slow way down here to let the leaders go through.
Great move by Miller, staying high there. Costa and Brady Smith battle for P7. Carlos Acosta, he sent it. Trying to get clear of Smith. He's going to. Clark still hanging on, losing time to Gruenberg though, but he's still hanging on. Not allowing Gruenberg to get too far out.
Yeah, about have a second gap right now, Josh, and mentioned Brett Miller was keeping up with these guys, but he has now dropped off over a second behind Race Clark, about a couple of last laps. So trying to race Clark right now a little bit, but he is a second and a half back from the race leader. But for Brett Miller, he does have a lot of breathing room. 2 seconds between he and Matt Hackathorn, who runs fourth. And another second back to Jess Story in fifth.
Right now the field pretty much spread out. We are approaching the halfway point in this race. 62 down, 63 to go. And Gruenberg, after starting almost tail end of the field, P10 out of 11. Gruenberg leads. Race Clark, Brett Miller, Matt Hackathorn, and Jeff Story. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but don't go anywhere. Won't miss a thing as we're going JCTV non-stop. If it works, that is. Here we go. Now time for the commercial.
Oh, James Miller just ate the wall right in front of Smith and Butler. I think that's what happened to him before. I quickly went through his laps, and I think he caught the wall when he let Lindsay go by.
Well, just want to take a look at the replay. Well, we are still live. A little bit of contact between Miller and Smith. Oh, goodness. Out of the way. Race Clark, Brett Miller. So we're going to try this again.
Well, look at Kyle Busch out there.
Yeah, he is all over the track.
I mean, what has gotten into him today?
Oh, that cannot be good.
Oh, unbelievable.
Whoa, look out.
Wait a minute. Is Kyle in reverse?
Yeah, you don't see that every day. Okay, that is bad,
man.
bad driving.
Oh, this is not like Kyle at all.
Are we winning?
I thought you were looking.
M&M's makes race day more fun.
What is Kyle thinking?
Right side tire, Jay's filling full of fuel, and you heard the instruction. Right tires only. Right tires only. Hey! No!
Every sip gets you closer to Justin Timberlake MP3s.
Hey.
Hey to you. A chance to meet Jeff Gordon.
You okay, Justin?
Millions of songs from Amazon MP3 and more. Sign up at PepsiStuff.com.
Hey guys, it's Jonathan from JCTV. Here at JCTV, we currently broadcast 3 series. On Tuesdays, you'll catch the Slide Job Racing League featuring drivers such as Dalton Kilroe, Dane Cruz, and Jonathan Parker.
And real quick, we are 3 wide for the race lead. Hawkins, Wygant, Hapiak, they went 4 wide for a moment with a lap car.
On Fridays, you'll see the NAOR series featuring Nick Hapiak, Chris Wright, and Josh Arnold. As that happens, here comes the 5 through the middle right now. He's going to force the issue and take it
4 wide! 4 wide!
God.
What a move by Justin Durand to go to the race lead!
On Saturdays, you can find the In the Pit News Truck Series featuring Justin Durand, Zach Probst, and Ethan Fonseca Moreno. To book JCTV for your own league, please visit us at jctvracing.com and contact us for your booking. Remember, race fans, you can always watch racing live or anytime over at JCTV's YouTube channel.
Back here at South Boston, Matt Grunberg still leading, and he is just pulling away. Actually, battling with a couple of lap cars there. Cars that used to get a lap. Being Smith and Butler, a little bit of a struggle there, but was able to get past both of them, and now once again pulling away from Race Clark.
Yeah, over a 2-second lead for Grunberg. But Josh, driver on the move right before that commotion break we took was Just Story. Moved up into the 4th place, took it over from Matt Hackathorn. He's driven away from the 04, trying to catch 89 of Brett Miller. It's going to be a little bit of a tall task, but why don't we do something different, Josh? And why don't we talk to him mid-race?
Let's do it.
Around hey, with this. Sorry about that. Hey, Jess, it's the guys up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, we just saw you get around Matt Hackathorn a few laps ago. It's going to be a tall task here in the last 40 laps, but is there any way you can catch those top 3?
It's going to be tricky. They look pretty fast, and on top of that, too, just a few laps ago, my force feedback went out on my wheels, so it's going to be a tall order, but we'll give it the best we got.
Yeah, it's going to be a tall order at a track like this. What has the race been like out on the racetrack here at Little Bowling like this with these cars?
It's been overall really fun. The cars have a lot of good mechanical grip, and everyone's taking advantage of it, and everybody's getting kind of aggressive, and it's been really fun to do. I mean, I really enjoy these races.
Yeah, it looks a lot of fun, especially at the start, at the beginning of those restarts. What were you thinking, just being right in the middle of it and being in contention most of this race?
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to stay out of the way and not try to like run over anybody or get run over. You know, like I said, a lot of fun doing these races, and especially on those restarts, they get crazy. So definitely having a blast out here.
All right, well, it looks like you're having a fun time, Jess. Good luck rest of the race. Hopefully we can talk to you a little bit later on.
All right, thank you.
Was Jess Story running 4th place. Josh, nice of him to talk to us under the green flag run, long green flag run here after a couple early cautions.
Yeah, and right now a battle with Matt Hackenthorn and Carlos Costa actually catching Hackenthorn and Story as well.
Yeah, as he was talking to us, we saw him lap James Miller yet again as he went down his 3rd lap to these guys, and I don't think that really shrunk up the gap back to Hackenthorn, but it didn't do major favors. But you see now, you mentioned Acosta inside of Hackenthorn. He's really the only one of these guys I think Joshua have pitted. He opted to take that pit stop early on under caution, and I don't know, I think he put bolted tires on just a little bit fresher than these guys.
Justin Kolb right there as well. Going to get around Hackenthorn. Now Acosta looking underneath Story. Story moves up. Acosta trying to clear Story. But Justin Kolb too. I mean, the job Justin Kolb is doing, staying right here with Acosta and having Acosta kind of clear the way for him.
Yeah, Justin Cole has been all over the leaderboard this race as he's going to have a good run on the back straightaway that almost cleared Jess Story, but started out back, was able to make his way about midfield early on after those restarts, and then dropped back on this green flag run, Josh. But like you mentioned, able to follow Carlos Acosta through the pack and able to make some late positions on this green flag run as Hackenthorn and Story are going to go side by side yet again, but this time they're 2 positions back from where they were last time.
Hackenthorn had a moment there. Driving it in a little bit deeper. Story holding on.
Up front, Race Clark is losing more lead. Brady Smith right in front of him. The gap last time was 3.8 seconds. It's going to be right around 4.2 this time at the line, and now Brent Miller is about to be all over the back bumper of that 22 of Race Clark for the 2nd position.
That's Brady Smith just ahead in the 10. Brady is a lap down. Clark going to go underneath Brady Smith. I think Clark a little bit too late on the brakes, kind of washed up into Smith there. Made a little bit of side contact, but those 2 drivers are fine. Now Clark going to get ahead of Smith. Here comes Miller.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an interesting pass there. Josh going to turn 1 very late, like you mentioned. Almost swung out on the straightaway very, very late to show the nose, and might have caught Brady Smith off guard there turning into the corner, but Brent Miller going to get through now and continue to stay right behind Race Clark, but Clark with a clean track up until Matt Grunberg, but now he is 5 seconds up the road from these guys.
Yeah, glad you mentioned that. Pretty much a whole straightaway between Grunberg and Clark. No lap cars between them. The next lap car is Corey Lindsay, who is a couple car lengths ahead of Grunberg right now. So Clark right now, he doesn't have to worry about passing anybody. He just has to worry about holding on over Brent Miller. So we have actually 3 different battles going on right now. This one, Race Clark, Brent Miller. We've got Jess Story and Matt Hackenthorn still battling. And we've got this side-by-side battle between Carlos Acosta and Justin Kolb. As Kolb is underneath Acosta. Acosta, he goes way up the racetrack. And in position 2, Justin Kolb, now up to P4. As Acosta, he is not giving up. Carlos drives it onto the apron underneath Justin Kolb. Kolb had the run.
I don't think it's over yet. Trevor Butler had a bad time getting through the front straightaway a lap ago. Had a big overcorrection coming off turn 4, and he's directly in front of these two you see here. So Carlos Acosta going to slide into the inside down the back straightaway and try and make something happen in turn 3. A little bit too brave there.
Kolb really wants Butler to get out of the way. Acosta, he's going to be 3 wide. Kolb up top, Acosta bottom. Butler was in the middle, and Acosta is going to clear Kolb. Kolb still stuck on the outside of Butler, who washes up the track, almost gets into Kolb.
Now Justin Kolb's going to be really mad, but that was bad timing. The first incident with Trevor Butler, they were just kind of blocking him down the straightaway. That was really bad timing, just the way that all sorted out. I think Butler assumed Kolb was going to slide to the inside, but there was no space for Kolb to do so. But this battle's going to continue because I think Justin Kolb's going to continue attacking this outside here.
Race leader just took 15 to go. These guys are on the backstretch. Once they get to the line, it's going to be 15 to go for them. You do the math. I'm not going to. I've got telemetry that tells me there's 4 minutes left in this race. The amount of laps that they have and the times that it takes them to do a lap here, it's protecting 4 minutes on the dot right now. That's left in this race. There's not a lot of time if you're Justin Kolb to get around Carlos Acosta.
Those other batters you mentioned, Josh. Right now, Race Clark continuing to defend on Brett Miller for the position of 2nd right now, and Jess Story holds a pretty comfortable gap over Matt Hackathorn for that position since we last looked at it, but that Carlos Acosta, Justin Kolb are going to continue in 4th.
Yeah, Jess Story pulled away from Hackathorn, as you mentioned, see the gap there.
Hackathorn about to get caught by the race leader, Matt Grunberg here.
Justin Kolb gonna have a second run there through corner exit of 2. Kolb is taking more of an aggressive approach, entering high, exiting low, trying to get that run off the exit.
They're going to catch 3 laps because he really quickly. Corey Lindsay, James Miller, who just come off the pit road a few laps ago, who goes way high as Corey Lindsay, and then Brady Smith. Lindsay's in the wall.
And real quick, in case you missed last week, Miller!
James Miller and Smith.
Oh, goodness. In case you missed last week, the 6:11 rule no longer in play. They got rid of that, so every driver gets to finish if they choose. Enough of that, though. Kolb right there on Carlos Acosta's back bumper. Wanted to make the move into 2. Wasn't able to.
Battle for 2nd. Brett Miller side by side with Race Clark, shoves him up the track down the back straightaway, but Clark gets the advantage anyway. That was almost a last-ditch effort there for Brett Miller. Didn't work out. He's got a little bit more time to regroup.
Carlos Acosta trying to get around Smith. Acosta's going to be to the inside. Kolb runs on the outside behind Smith. Now cuts low. There's contact between Smith and Acosta.
See if Justin Kolb can clear Smith on the back straightaway. Indeed, he does clear that 10 car, so it's going to be a battle between these two. Front of the picture, I think it's going to be just duking it out here these last few laps.
Costa has a moment to breathe. But it's not a long moment. It's Kolb right there, back to his bumper. Kolb gonna look to the inside. Costa shut the door. Race leader Matt Gruenberg has taken 2 to go. Gruenberg coming off 4 to see the white flag. These two still nose to tail. Kolb gonna look to the inside. Acosta blocks off 4 though. Is Gruenberg. He's gonna win the race. 3 straight for Gruenberg. Kolb high. Acosta on the apron. Acosta, he had a moment, but he just edges out Justin Kolb for the 4th place. 2 weeks in a row. Gruenberg has won, and we've had a battle for 4th. Go ahead, Adam.
The battle for 2nd was almost a mirror, or I should say the battle for 4th was almost a mirror of what I watched for the battle for 2nd, because Reese Clark came off turn 4 sideways, almost in the inside one, barely beat Brent Miller to the start-finish line to take P2. So big battles around this little 4/10 of a mile brewing, while you mentioned Gruenberg continues to dominate.
Oh! Little contact there between Clark and Smith. Not intentional, I don't believe. Just the way the pit road is. So, yeah, I kind of feel like it's 2 weeks in a row Gruenberg has absolutely dominated. We've not really talked about Gruenberg at all on the last few laps, and then there's a battle for 4th that we are just calling, and crazy battle. So let's see here if we can bring in our 3rd place finisher, Brent. Actually, you know what? I am getting ahead of myself. Let's look at our results page. Okay, let's not look at our results page. Finishing first is Matt Gruenberg, Race Clark P2. 3rd is Brent Miller, Carlos Acosta 4th, and Justin Kolb is 5th.
He was the last car on the lead lap, with Jess Story finishing in 6th in the 7. 7th place was Matt Hackathorn. Brady Smith in the 10 finished 8th. Trevor Butler finished 9th, and Corey Lindsay in the 00 finished 3 laps down in 10th, with James Miller in the 09 6 laps behind in 11th place tonight.
Alright, I'm not sure what's going on with ATVO tonight, so sorry we couldn't show you the results page, but still able to get you the results. Let's go ahead and talk to Brent Miller now. Hey Brent, first of all, I personally didn't really see the finish. For you guys, I was focused on the battle for 4th, but according to Adam, pretty much mirror image what I was talking about with the battle for 4th was battle between you and Race Clark there coming to the end. Just coming up a little bit short, P3, but just what a race you had. Was up front all race long, and battling with a couple of drivers that have really been up front in these first 4 races. So walk us through how it went for you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really like doing short track races. That's what I usually do on here when I'm not racing in the league. So when I saw South Boston, I was pretty excited. Pretty good in practice. Obviously, Gruenberg's just amazing. all the time, so it's really hard to beat him. But Race and I had, I settled in to the lead there for a bit, let them two go, and Race kind of fell back to me with about 50 to go. I was just trying to save a little bit, and I got under him a couple times, but I did hit him in the door a couple times, so I apologize for that, but it was good, hard racing. So, yeah, definitely take a third place. Race is always fun to race with, so to speak, so, and Gruenberg as well, and all these guys. So I know it's a small field, but these cars are a lot of fun. So, yeah, it was a good race. I'm excited for third. I almost got him for second, but we shall take a podium.
So we've already have seen 4 different track types. More of a super speedway or speedway type race, dirt, road, and now short track. This season, so far, of course, it's only 6 races long, this being race number 4. We go to USA next week and Richmond to finish off the season. So far, I mean, with the different styles of races, you said that you were really excited for short tracks, USA, Richmond. Are you looking forward to the next 2 races, or is there any race prior to tonight that you would want back?
Yeah, I mean, USA should be fun. I think we're doing the pavement now. I'm not sure on that because dirt was kind of pretty crazy a couple weeks ago. So both of Richmond and USA will both be fun. Auto Club, the first race we had was really fun too. Just kind of a drafting track, and I got caught up in a wreck there. I almost got through it and got like 10 minutes of damage, so I was done there. Road course is never my forte either, so yeah, I'm excited for the next 2 races. Maybe I can creep up a little in the points. I know it's more of a fun league for anything, but it's always fun to run pretty good, so it should be fun the next couple weeks. Hopefully more guys can come out and get a good show for you guys too.
All right, before I let you go, sponsors, shout outs, who gets it done for you?
Yeah, I guess the only really one I want to, I've raced with these guys for a long time, since the Xbox days back in when I was in college and stuff, and we moved to iRacing. So Corey is a good friend. He puts on a really good league. So, we've raced for years and years. So shout out to Corey for bringing this back. Hopefully we can keep it going, even if it's, on these small 6 race stuff. And yeah, to Corey and you guys for broadcasting. The show's pretty awesome watching it after, so thanks, guys.
All right, congrats on the 3rd place finish, and we will see you next week.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
You as well. And that was 3rd place finisher Brent Miller. Turn things to Adam, who's got up with Race Clark, our 2nd place finisher.
Hey, Race, 2nd place finish, able to just barely beat Brent Miller there at the finish. What was that finish like from the perspective of the 22 car? Because that was a lot of fun for me to watch. Looked like you were barely hanging on to that thing coming to the finish.
Yeah, I burnt him up a little bit. I was a little under practice, like 30 minutes in. I'm like, are y'all shifting? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, great. So, but I got the hang of it, but not to the best, and try to keep up with Matt. I burnt my stuff up, and then Brent got back to me, and I had to hold him off, had a good race with him, and P2, I ain't mad at it. Got the pedals fixed too, but it was like perfect tonight.
Yeah, that sounds awesome for a place like this. You mentioned trying to keep up with Matt. What was it like just trying to get through the lap traffic there on that really long run to the finish with everything going on, trying to, like I mentioned, keep up with the man, and then like you mentioned, try and keep Brent behind you there?
It was pretty tough, like I said, kind of burnt that right front up, and they got their own race going, Trevor and Brady and everybody. So, giving them their space, trying to keep up with Matt, trying to manage the right front, it's juggling the whole thing, and Matt did it better. And that's how it goes. And watch him bring it closer and closer. It was not fun, but fun, and had a good race with him. Got to my inside once, but it was good and competitive. It was a fun race. I was almost in a trance there at the end, lap 120, going round and round like that.
Well, we're 4 weeks down now into the 3-Rock Series. Only 2 races left. What do you think this puts you in that 22 car? Big races coming up. Obviously, we have USA and Richmond, and we think they're going to be a lot like this kind of was. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm in any sort of points battle. I know we were rooting for, my fellow teammate Trevor tonight, but I know he found some misfortune. So I'd say my goal headed into USA and then Richmond, just do some winning, try and keep up with Matt. Maybe I wreck him. Who knows?
Well, hopefully we see the winning part out of you, Race. Before we let you go, who do you want to shout out and thank for a second place finish here tonight at Sobo?
I want to shout out my mom. She works on the Carnival Cruise, so when she's out at sea, she can't watch nothing, but she's watching. All my friends, all my homies, Dale Earnhardt, rest his soul, and y'all for putting this thing on. Y'all have a good one.
All right, you as well, Race. Thanks for your time, and congrats again on the run tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was our runner-up tonight, Race Clark in the 22, and now hand it back over to Josh, making his way to victory lane.
And indeed, I am in victory lane. Let me make. Okay, yep, we're good. Matt Grunberg, 3 weeks in a row you've dominated. 2 weeks in a row has been a show going on somewhere else on the track, and we've really not talked about you other than crossing the line first. So, first of all, congrats on the win. Second of all, you need to make things a little bit more exciting at the end of races. But no, once again, pretty much same thing as last week. Start towards back, work your way up front, have a huge battle with Race Clark. That is very exciting to watch. Once you get past him, you are nowhere to be found. What a race, and what a season you've had so far. Just congrats on 3 in a row, Matt. But, how tough is it to, with no qualifying, we've seen you have to come from the back of the field now every time, I believe. At a track like tonight where it's a short track, how tough is it to get up to the front?
Yeah, certainly tonight on the short track at South Boston, it was tougher than usual. It was really tough to pass, especially once I got behind Race Clark there for the lead. It was pretty much just once he made one mistake, I was going to have to jump on that. And I think he ended up making a little mistake out of 2, and I was able to get to the outside. And I knew that was my chance to take the lead and just try to keep alongside him, and then eventually just creep forward each lap. And fortunately, I was able to clear him, and then definitely take advantage of the clean air and pull a gap. So yeah, definitely tough to pass tonight, but fortunately we were able to figure it out and make our way to the front.
So a little bit of a battles out there. Once you did get up to the lead, trying to then get past lap traffic. Saw one point where there was a couple drivers that were side by side and trying to get by. So just staying patient. I think one thing that I've noticed about you real quickly is that you are a very patient driver, and how much do you think that patience really plays into a factor? Being patient, getting around the lap traffic, being patient, getting around Clark. How much of that, is just playing a factor into how you drive?
I think it's a huge factor. I think patience is one of the very underrated skills in racing. If you don't have the car to make it to the end, obviously you're never going to be able to win the race. So I think patience is huge. And just patience, saving the tires, just not burning them up too early on, and just not overdriving, and then also being patient with lap cars. If you never know what's going to happen when you're trying to pass a lap car. throughout the race. So just being patient with that and making sure that you get by cleanly, I think are two huge things when it comes to these types of races. And fortunately, we were able to navigate the lap cars that were battling, and I knew I had quite a bit of room to be patient with them. When checking the relative, I think we had built up quite a bit of gap to second place at that point. So, yeah, I think being patient definitely huge. So it worked out for us tonight.
All right, 2 races left on the season. We head to USA and Richmond. Which track you looking forward to going to the most?
I know we did Richmond in the preseason testing, and I wasn't the biggest fan of the preseason test we had there, but I'd say, I guess USA, I didn't get a chance to run that, but if we do end up going there next week, I was looking more forward to the dirt version, but I guess it was probably looking like it's going to be the pavement version, so we'll see how it goes. I guess it's up in the air. I don't know how big of draft is going to play a role in that one. I know the draft in Richmond played a pretty significant role, even though you still had to break in the corners. So I guess, yeah, we'll see how it goes next week.
All right. Before I let you go, any sponsors or shout-outs you have to give it gets done behind the number 54?
Yeah, definitely a shout out to Christopher Haley. Couldn't have gotten the win without him. And then, you guys putting on the broadcast for the fans and all the fans that tuned in tonight, and just the competitors keeping this league running. And of course, Corey for putting this league back on for us. It's nice to be able to be a part of a league again. I know back in the day this was my favorite league to be a part of. So I'm really glad that Corey was able to come back and revive the league in one way or another.
All right. Congrats on the win. 3 wins in a row. A hat trick. And we'll see you next week at USA.
Thank you.
And that was race winner Matt Gruenberg. Adam, I think we need to make a permanent place for him in the booth.
Yeah, pretty common here Monday nights. Speaking to him, once again, like you mentioned, hat trick for consecutive weeks. He is the last man we talk to here in the post-race show, so it's always a good thing. But he's going to have a pretty comfortable gap, Josh, going into the next 2 races. He mentioned he'd rather go into USA with it being a dirt race, but going into USA as we presume it's going to be USA Speedway, on the pavement, he's going to have a 13-point lead going in. Pretty comfortable for this little 6-race series here.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and pull up the schedule. So, you have heard, we're thinking it's going to be the asphalt version. Because originally USA, on the original schedule, was going to be the dirt. Last dirt race at Lernerville, there were some little issues, just kind of tiny minor inconveniences. So there were some discussions about changing it to the asphalt version, or maybe just changing the track altogether. So I believe, and nothing has really been confirmed, I don't believe, but I personally think that we will be going to USA next week. It will be the asphalt version, and Adam has updated our graphic schedule, so have that up for you. So you see, 2 races left. We assume USA International, and then Richmond Raceway to finish out the season.
Yeah, it was true. It's going to be a lot of fun. Like we just heard Matt say, draft was a factor when they went to Richmond for the preseason race, which is very intriguing to me because, Josh, you and I both know that is a short track, only 3/4 of a mile, and USA International Speedway is a mile long. So if it was a factor at Richmond, I think it's going to be a big factor next week. So it's going to be interesting to see how these cars race at that racetrack because they put on a show almost every stop we've been to so far. Actually, every stop we've been to so far in the 4-week series, but they've exceeded expectations in ways we haven't really come to really predict here in the series so far, Josh.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I had no idea what it was going to be like broadcasting these cars. Um, and then, I was reading through kind of the rules, just the different things that this league has put on. This setup here, like this setup that you've seen ran tonight is the same setup they ran at Auto Club, same setup at Lernerville, same setup at Tsukuba. It'll be the same setup that's used at USA and Richmond. So, I mean, I was surprised. I'm like, I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I knew these guys did a lot of testing before they implemented it, and I'm telling you, first of all, I've fallen in love with this series, and it's been a lot of fun. Now, as far as you mentioning the drafting, I'm surprised about that. With what Grunberg was saying, personally, I would think that there really wouldn't be much of a draft at Richmond, but I'm looking forward to that already. It's still a couple weeks out, Adam, but yeah, I mean this has been an incredible season so far, and 4 down, 2 to go. Just what an incredible job these drivers in the Edmonds have done.
Yeah, it's been really a big treat for us to call and watch, and like all the drivers have mentioned, they're thankful for us calling, but we're thankful for being able to see some of the great battles in racing we've been able to see these 4 weeks so far. But Josh, we got 2 more weeks to go, and we got pretty much a championship to decide. I'm sure Matt Grunberg is going to be the clear favorite going in next week, but we still have the top 5 separated by just 20 points, and then few drivers not much further back than that. So we'll have more things organized and situated, of course, next week and the week after when we know everything at Richmond. But I think it's going to be a lot of points racing talk the next 2 weeks after everything we've seen leading up to this point in the season.
That I agree with for sure. But I think that's going to do it from us here in South Boston, Virginia. And we look forward to next week, USA International. What is tonight? Monday. So Thursday night, the SAAC Coast to Coast Cup Series, it's back in action once again for yet another race in their chase. And we head to the Indy road course. 41 laps around the Indy road course. That one should be exciting. That league puts on a lot of exciting road course races as well. So if you want to tune into more JCTV content, check that one out on Thursday. And then, of course, 1 week from today is USA. So still plenty of action coming up. And big thanks to all the drivers, the Edmonds fans. All you guys are awesome for allowing us to do what we do and have fun doing it. And big thanks to Adam, as always, for showing up, co-commentating this with me. So on behalf of Adam and the amazing crew behind JCTV, we're signing off, saying so long, and we will see you next time.